that you might want to aim at.
All right.
I'm just watching.
Okay.
I'm not. You might hit it perfect. You might miss it. I don't care. There's only two things you can do: hit it or miss it. And I'm just watching just to see what we're starting with. Straight, but you hit it. I hit it. Well, you accomplished one of the two things. I'm going to guess that's your normal ball play. It might start out toward second base. It ends up over that way. Okay. Any physical, anything back, shoulder, anything what bothers you?
See this right here?
Okay.
I had that replaced.
Okay.
November, I get this replaced.
How long
This
ago?
was shot. This was done last March.
Okay.
This gets done next November. This one's bone on bone, and it makes my back hurt a little bit because of the way I walk.
When you swing, does it hurt?
But I've been told that when I sit up, that this is, I'm doing weird things with this knee and I don't realize I'm doing it.
That's not a big deal. Lower body is going to assist the upper however it can. For the most part, the lower body is for stability and balance. So you can actually execute the swing. The lower body doesn't do anything. You can still hit it. You may not hit it as far because it does provide some complementary, if you will, oomph when it does rotate and follow. But you can still hit the ball at appreciable distance just because that generates club head speed. So, looking at what you did and having the initial conversation that we had, what I want to do is I want to work mostly on the grip today, because the grip is one of the harder things to change. But if we're going to go forward, just like you said with baseball, we've got to make a little adjustment to make this more of a golf swing than a baseball swing, or give you the foundation of a golf swing. Even though the baseball tendencies are fine, there's nothing wrong with the baseball tendencies, but when the right hand and the left hand get confused in the golf swing, and where it's like hockey, if it ties in, certain things that happen in hockey, they're great golf swingers, the hockey players, but they tend to hit hooks just because of what's dominant when they swing. We've got to set up the golf swing with the grip in much more of a neutral position, so that one side isn't, domineering over another, because then it messes up what's happening with the club head, which is pretty much what's happening with yours. That club head isn't doing what it's supposed to do. So not only do you lose distance, but it also affects your direction. So you asked a question about the grip in terms of how you hold. I want you to go ahead and grip the club. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do an initial change, and you're going to go, are you kidding me? All right. But we're going to do it just to see how your hands can react. Now that's the 10-finger grip. Okay? The 10-finger grip is okay. Your hands are pretty big. The first thing I would probably recommend, let's say we're doing a club fitting right here.
Okay.
First thing I would probably recommend is you need thicker grips.
Okay.
And when you get a thicker grip, you'd probably be amazed at how your hands fit on there much easier.
Okay.
That's something we can do down the road. Right now you got your equipment, we'll kind of make it work.
Okay.
Now, looking at how you held it right there, we'll just start with the left hand. You don't have to worry about the right hand. Any part of the hand that can come in contact with the club, you want it to come in contact. And what I mean by that is you don't want to grip the club like this.
Okay.
Where this thing's,
Yeah.
you got a part of your hand that can come in contact. Let's make sure it comes in contact. So I'm going to slide it down and give you at least a ½ inch of clearance.
Oh, okay.
On that. Now the one thing about this glove that really helps is you've got a pad right there. Then I put that there because most people wear it out. But I'm going to pick the club up like this, and I'm going to move your hand. Relax your hand. I'm going to move it up here a little bit so that that pad is now up on top of the club.
Okay.
Now don't worry about where the club face is.
Okay.
Right now, we're just worried about that pad, and I'm going to give you a little drill. That if you can just work in a simple little drill where you get that pad this way, where that pad is up on the top, and I'm going to pick the club up. Oh, she's filled. I'm going to pick the club up right up here in front of me with that pad up on top, and I'm going to take all my fingers off the club except the index finger. And what you're trying to do is balance it.
Okay.
Without having to do anything weird. Now, if that pad gets over where you had it, where it's kind of over on the side, and you do that drill, there goes the club. So we want to make sure that left hand has that pad up on top, so that balance drill right there. And you know what? Here's what I do with the kids. When they go, I got that. I said, okay, let's hold it for 2 minutes. And then all of a sudden their arm starts burning because they're not used to that. And then I'll push down on the club a little bit. Just to give, a little weight to see if they can hold it. Yeah, that's how you build some muscle tone. But that's your indicator that your left hand for you right now is in a different position than it was. So yes, what it does right there is it actually brings the hand over this way a little bit, where you can almost see the logo on your glove.
Okay.
The old school we talked about is you want to try and see 2 knuckles on that left hand when you look down. That was kind of a barometer, if you will, that you had it. But I'm more interested in what that hand does, so that when you hold the club up, you can balance it.
Great.
The hard part is going to be your right hand, just because it's dominant. And the thing I can tell you is, no longer are you going to grip it that way.
Okay.
You're going to grip it this way.
Okay.
That's the bun. That's the hot dog.
Ah.
You're going to fit the bun right into the hot dog first, so you're coming in at an angle. Much more of an angle, and the fingers are just going to, they're just going to curl around the club.
Okay.
There's your right hand grip.
Hot dog. Gotcha.
You're hiding the hot dog.
Okay.
What you want to do is you want to get it under here and get it dominant. There you go. Yeah. But we don't want that.
I can get some power there.
Now you got way too much of a percentage of right hand dominance in the swing. It's not neutral anymore, because this hand is pointed this way.
Okay.
All right, the logo, if you will. If you had a glove on this hand, you'd want it pointed this way, so which means it's got to come over like that.
Oh, okay.
So if anything, you're almost going to feel like this little pinch right here is all you're holding onto the club with.
Okay.
With your right hand. The right hand kind of goes along for the ride.
Okay.
So we put it in a position where it can go along for that ride. And let's say it's a roller coaster. You're getting right up to the top of the roller coaster. The right hand's going to help push it over the side, which is the downward motion, or the actual swing from this side going through, where the right hand will come into play. So what that will feel like to you initially is it'll probably feel like you don't have as much control of the club as you've had.
Actually, it feels pretty good.
Okay. Your test for that, when you do the left hand and you hold the left hand up and you try and get that fatty pad, the test when you get both hands on there is when you hide that hot dog, you hold it up in front of you, and you want to be able to hinge this way without restrictions. And if that right hand gets under here and you're holding it and you try and hinge it, there's no way that your wrist is going to let you naturally hinge that without something changing in the swing. That's much better right there. You can just see the relationship of the hands, where the right hand is, we'll call the right hand much more passive there. But here's the thing, when I said we're going to talk mostly about grip and try and get you adjusted with the grip, when I go away, if I come back in 10 minutes, that hand's going to have slipped underneath, and the left hand is going to have slipped under there, because you go back to your comfort zone. So, I mean, she's got pictures of it.
I know,
you can look at it and just go through the checkpoints where, okay, and this doesn't take long to actually make that adjustment, to where whenever you, doesn't matter what club you grip, you can do that test real quick and just make sure that pad is well up on top, which puts the club in the left hand similar to the right hand, feeling it more in the fingers and fingertips.
So Chuck, that grip is for every club, driver?
Only one grip.
Okay, even
putter. The only difference you have in grips is when you go to short game, where maybe you're doing a chip shot or a putt or something like that, where you don't need all of the fundamentals of the swing to execute a shot. You're much more target oriented when you're doing the short game and the putting. So I
Okay.
mean that can change, but for
This is
any
for
of your regular
distance.
shots, any of your regular shots where you involve hinge
Okay.
with the swing, that's where this grip is going to have to be present.
Okay. So will you show him a different grip for pitching and putting?
That's when we get to that.
Okay.
It's the thing about different grips with pitching and putting is you don't have to have the same execution of the swing. It's much more of a shoulder pendulum type motion.
Okay.
So things that you can experiment with that when you chip. Split the grip. So look, Jim, when you chip, I do this an awful lot with students. This grip. And when you chip, you're just trying to let the right hand kind of work the pendulum. The left hand is almost going along for the ride there.
Oh,
and that
okay.
can work with putting too. But the more you separate the grip with the little chip shots, the easier it is to just let the club head.
Boy, that makes
Do its
sense
thing.
too. It feels good.
And where that comes from is if you gave somebody a ball that didn't know anything about golf, never saw golf, you give them a ball, well, doesn't matter what ball it is, and you give them a hole, and you want them to roll it toward the hole, think about what they would do. If the hole's over here and you give them the ball, they're not going to do this.
No.
They're going to go like this, and they're going to go like this with whatever their dominant hand. Let's say it's their dominant hand is their right hand. Well, okay, use that theory and say, okay, if I split it and I can get the right hand to do the motion, now it doesn't matter how you stand. Look, you can stand like this.
Sure.
Look, you can stand like this, but what you're interested in is what the club's doing. Moving the club toward the hole. So when you talk about short game, it kind of throws an awful lot of the swing fundamentals out the door because you're more interested in getting the ball working toward the hole. So you got to think outside the box. And if you don't think outside the box and you want to stay traditional and all, you're probably going to struggle with distance and directional control, just because it's not that natural of a move. The golf swing, however, is a lot more natural. Baseball, hockey, it's the same type of round motion where you're trying to generate speed down at the apparatus or the part of the apparatus that you have that makes contact. You know, in hockey, you want the end of that stick to be doing you don't want the shaft of the stick doing it. I mean, it doesn't make contact with the puck. You don't want the barrel of the bat or the handle of the bat moving fast. You want the barrel moving fast going through because that's going to generate power. So same thing with golf. We're trying to get the club head to do most of the work, and that's where this grip adjustment comes in.
That is so cool.
And it's going to be interesting. The easiest way to do that with the left hand is if you hold the club up like this, and you put the left hand on like this. So you're really getting it in the fingers and fingertips when you do that. You've got that position with that pad up on top already set. Hold like this, right down there. And just right up against. And you just, hand's gonna be right up, move it right up there. There you go.
Okay.
Now you got that pad in the right position where that drill
That feels good.
has it fitting.
I like that.
Now you talked to me about grip when you showed it to me in terms of all 10 fingers being on the club. If they feel crowded, you can see where that little pinky is getting pinched in there on my right hand. You can rest it up on top of the
I was
index.
watching that guy that I like, that Ian was his name?
Ian Poulter.
Yeah.
He does that. He rests up there like that.
There's a couple, some rested up on top, some interlock it. Your hands aren't bony enough to interlock it.
Okay.
You really don't want to interlock. But you can, to get the hands closer together to cover that hot dog, you can let that pinky just rest
Pretty cool.
up on top of the index finger.
Gotcha.
Now pinky doesn't do much in the swing. So I mean, we don't want to cut it off, but we can just take it out of play a little bit, and it just helps that hot dog bun relationship.
I like that hot dog bun thing. That's really good. I can dig this one. I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this.
Nope. Here's what we're doing. You're coming in from like 2 o'clock. There, and just let the fingers curl. Just let them curl right around. Let that finger curl right there. This thumb is just going to be off center. but in contact.
Okay.